Hello everybody, and welcome to my Werewolf Companion in-game build guide. So first off, we're going to want Aspect of Might. This is going to give us 20% damage reduction. We use basic skills. You're going to want Wolves, Poison Creeper, Max Life, percent total armor. On the chest piece, you're going to want Aspect of Disobedience. This is going to give you a 30% stacking armor buff. You're going to want quad damage reductions on that. On the gloves, you're going to want Lucky Hit Chance, Critical Strike Chance, Attack Speed, and then Critical Strike damage with the Werewolf skills. And you're going to want to throw Aspect of the Alpha on this. This makes your Wolf Companions Werewolf Companions, and they can now spread rabies, and they also do a bunch of extra damage. Next up, you're going to want Storm's Companion. So what this does is it fixes the functionality of your wolves. It makes it to where they blink to the target pretty much, and then it also does AoE damage now when they do that blink. And it does Companion skill damage, which also buffs your Poison Creeper. So it also gives you +4 ranks to wolves, which is pretty nice. So overall, it's a super good ability for this, and it also makes them a storm ability and a nature magic ability. So then we can actually buff them even further in our paragon. Moving right along to the boots, we have a looting aspect. So becoming injured while crowd controlled is going to grant you unstoppable. This is going to help prevent you from getting CC chained. So on these, you're going to want damage reduction while injured, movement speed after killing an elite, and then the dodge chance against distant enemies, or percent total armor in werewolf form is fine. Or you can get rid of some of the move speed if you aren't that concerned about moving fast. So the main unique in this that you're going to want is Great Staff of the Crone. Now you can not use Great Staff of the Crone and do like a shred version of this build. However, it's not going to be as good. And the reason for that is that Great Staff of the Crone procs pack leader resets like absolute mad, more so than any other way I have ever tried. It just, I don't know, it just procs them just non-stop. It's amazing, really. And the reason for this is because Claw is now a storm skill and also casts Storm Strike at 147% damage. So when you cast Claw, you're getting 2 hits for 1, right? And then if you come down to Claw, you can take Claw has a 15% chance to attack twice. So now you're getting 4 hits for 1 whenever that procs, right? So you can see how you would just keep getting hits, which then gives you more chances at critting, and those crits gives you another chance at resetting the companion skill. So when you stack attack speed and stuff like that with this, you know, because we have an attack speed steroid here, we got the rapid aspect on, you're just going to see a ton of resets on your werewolf companions. Not only that, if you go the shred build, the main issue that I have with the shred build is that you then are trying to do 2 different things, right? So for a shred build, you're going to need to go like Blurred Beast or, you know, stuff like that, and you're going to need to try to buff these abilities. But shred cannot benefit from storm skills, right? But your wolves can. So in order to buff your wolf companions further, right, you're going to need to put stuff in the paragon tree that buffs storm skills. But that's not going to affect your shred. So you kind of have this anti-synergy going on, because the way that you get the most damage out of your wolves is by wearing Storm's Companion and taking a bunch of storm ability buffs with it, right? You don't have that issue. You do not have this issue when you go Great Staff of the Crone, because this turns your Claw into a storm ability. So now when you buff, you can buff your Claw and your wolves, and these are your main damage sources, right, without having to diverge in paths. Right, that's why I recommend Great Staff of the Crone. Not to mention, you're just not going to see resets like you do with Great Staff of the Crone by going Shred. It just kind of slows you down, because you have to remember Shred is a 3-part attack. Yes, you could try to buff its attack speed, but you know, when you're getting 4 hits for 1 from Great Staff of the Crone, and then at minimum a 2 hit for 1 just for every claw cast, it's really hard for Shred to keep up with that, even with attack speed. So that being said, moving right along to the necklace, we have Edgemaster's aspect. Since this is a core skill-less build, you're going to have a 30% damage multiplier for all your skills here. Now you could put Stampede here and you would get a bigger multiplier for your wolves, but I think it's more worth it to have Edgemasters here, because then you're going to get a multiplicative damage multiplier for everything and not just your companions, right? So for this, you're going to want Ranks of Call the Wild passive, damage reduction from poisoned, damage reduction while fortified, and ranks of companion skills. Your critical strikes and all, and then we're going to be using the barber. So sorry, your critical strikes and all subsequent damage within 3.5 seconds is absorbed by the target, and then it explodes. So it's going to look like you're doing no damage, and then all of a sudden things are going to get one shot. This is huge Because of all the companion resets we get with Great Staff of the Crone, this allows you to just start spamming your Wolf ability, your Poison Creeper ability inside of the Barber window, which just makes it do a really big high damage explosion, and you'll start to see just one-shotting things. It's great. So if you also, a quick note on if you want a 3.5 or like a 2-second one. So if you want to go fast and you're trying to do speeds, the 2-second one is probably better. If you're looking to get really big satisfying hits like I am, the longer one is better. So yeah. Anyways, moving right along. So on to the ring. So for this, you're going to want vulnerable damage, critical strike damage, max life, critical strike chance, or you can get rid of the max life or critical strike damage for lucky hit chance. This is going to have aspect the Stampede, gain 1 additional companion, and then it's going to give your companion skills 25% more damage. You're going to want the Malignant Heart of Revenge. This is going to give you 18% damage reduction, and the explosion damage doesn't really matter. It doesn't really do a whole lot, but the damage reduction on it, just the 18% of damage being suppressed, is amazing, right? That's enough right there to take it, so it's just a good defensive one. Alright, and then moving right along on the last one, so you have Rapid Aspect, basic skills, gain 15% attack speed, and you can get this all the way up to 30%, so you will be attacking at the speed of light with Claw, which is ideal. So you're going to want critical strike chance, critical strike damage, lucky hit chance, and then vulnerable damage on this. So unfortunately, my ring's slightly off, but that's okay. And then we're going to be taking the Moonrage. So kills have a 9% chance to summon an additional Wolf Companion to you, to your side for 24 seconds, and you get +3 to wolves. Pretty cool. Alright, so that's it for the armor and gear. Spirit Boons, Wariness, Scythe Talons, Avian Wrath, or you could go swooping attacks if you want to hone in on the attack speed, or you could go Iron Feather if you want to hone in on the defense. To be honest with you, I think all three of these are kind of equally good and serve their own purpose, so just kind of go with whichever one you like the best. If you're struggling to survive, go Iron Feather. If you really like the attack speed aspect and the Barber, go swooping attacks. If you like to see big bursts, go Avian Wrath. So then we're using Pack Leader. This makes our critical strikes have a chance to reset the cooldowns of our companion skills, and then Masochistic. So critical strikes with shapeshifting skills have up to a 75% chance to heal you for 3% of your max life. Moving right on into our abilities. So we are going to go Claw, Enhanced Claw, Wild Claw. Then we are going to go Storm Strike, Enhanced Storm Strike, Fierce Storm Strike. So since Claw is also casting Storm Strike because of Great Staff of the Crone, they also give us access to Vulnerable and Immobilize. Come down here, we're going to pick up Earthen Bulwark and Enhance Earthen Bulwark. I don't really care about the Fortify or the Explosion, just because it doesn't really do a whole lot for us. So the main reason why I have this is just because it makes you unstoppable. If I was running Aspect Emitting Stone, I would be more tempted to, I don't know, maybe get the second one here, but I'm not, so I'm just using this simply to break Chain CC. Then we have Bloodhowl, Enhanced Bloodhowl, Preserving Bloodhowl. This is going to give you a 15% attack speed steroid, and this is pretty much a potion that gets reduced cooldown on kills, which is great. We have Ancestral Fortitude, 1 point into that. Do not put 3 points into that. Physical resistance stat or non-physical resistance stacking is really, really bad, and you don't really get a whole lot of value out of it. And we have Vigilance. So if you stagger these, you can keep up this 15% damage buff up for longer, which will give you some more tankiness. So then we obviously are maxing out Wolves, Enhanced Wolf Pack, Ferocious Wolf Pack. You can go Brutal Wolf Pack if you want to, but I like the Fortify better. Poison Creeper, Enhanced Poison Creeper, Ferocious Poison Creeper. The reason why we go this is because this doubles the damage. So you can see here it says 48,000, now it says 97,000, right? Okay, we want Call of the Wild. This increases your companion skill damage by 60% multiplicatively. Come down here, we want Rabies, Enhanced Rabies, Savage Rabies. So Rabies was actually bugged in the preseason, so if you're wondering why it didn't do a whole lot of damage, that's actually why. I actually have been testing it out. It does about double the damage of what the passive portion of the Poison Creeper does, so it's really not too bad. So I went ahead and maxed it out and put it on my bar just to try to hone in on the Werewolf theme. But this is your flex ability slot. You can move this for Trample. You could put Cyclone on. You could put Debilitating Roar here, like whatever. You could take 4 points out or just 3 points out and then put them in to here somewhere. Heck, you could even do this. You could go take 4 points out, put 3 points into this, and then put a point into elemental exposure, and then you just have more access to vulnerable without needing to run exploit, right? So there's a lot of flex that goes on here, so keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that you are buffing your storm skills a decent amount in the paragon, going for things like Thunderstruck and stuff like that, since it affects your wolves and that. So going things like hurricane and storm skills isn't really that bad, because you are getting some benefit out of it. Okay, then we're going neurotoxin, toxic claws, and venom. This gives us a 30% crit buff against poisoned enemies. And we have toxic claws. This makes it to where your werewolf skills deal 23% of their base damage as poisoning damage, so this helps stack up more damage on the barber. And then we have defiance and natural disaster. Since both our claw and this are nature magic abilities, this is a multiplicative damage buff for both of them, right? So it's pretty sweet to take. This one goes nature magic seals against elite. This one is storm skills deal 12% increased damage to enemies that are stunned, immobilized, or knocked back. Take 1 point into defensive posture, increase the amount of fortify you gain from all sources by 5%. And then we're going to go Ursine Strength, because this increases all your skill damage by 30%. You could go Lupine Ferocity, but it will not affect your wolves. Yes, Aspect of the Alpha does not tag it as werewolf. It's dumb. Even with Tempest Roar, it does not work. It's super dumb. They need to change it. I'm hoping in the patch coming up they change that. I'll be praying for that change until it happens, because it needs to happen, because it would make this just the number one 100% go-to keystone for your companions. This one's a little too awkward to use, because really all you're getting is 25% attack speed for 15 seconds, or the 30%. It's because you have to stagger using these, because you have to sit there for 2.5 seconds, and that feels like a really awkwardly long time, right? You just really want to, you got to make sure you stay in the form to get it. I tried using it before in a previous build, and I really just didn't care for it. So that's going to be it for the skills. When it comes to Paragon, all I can say is the first two you want to take are going to be Spirit and Wilds. Wilds is the main one. However, you're not going to be able to get until you go into the Ancestral Guidance one, you won't be able to get the 25 it takes to get that 80% increased passive portion of companion skills, dealing increased damage. I think Ancestral Guidance is like the only glyph slot that has access to 25 intelligence before upgrading this to 21. So I always run through there first just to make sure I can get this. It's a massive damage buff to companion skills as well as the passive portion of companion skills. So it's definitely a must-have for companion builds. So if you aren't aware, they changed this. It no longer only does core skills, it also does all skills now. They dropped the core skill thing on it in the patch. So this does affect our claw, and it also affects our wolves. So we're seeing that's another reason why we're going to see some big damage. So when it comes to the rest of the Paragon, I'm just going to put a link in the description below. That was the two main things I wanted to talk about. Also, you do want to pick up Exploit at some point, but it's not imperative you pick it up early, because you do make things vulnerable with Storm Strike, so it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so that's that. Link in the description below for the full Paragon. Now let's go ahead and get into some gameplay. Alright. Let's hop on in. We got a 33 Commodore Temple here, Werewolf Companion build. Let's get her done. This is like the new champion's demise, I think. And boom. Oh, gotta watch out for Death Pulse. Death Pulse is not very nice. Yes, sir. Okay. Oh man, we were killing things real fast here. I'm not even having a chance to DPS things to really get the pack leader resets. It's okay though. That is a-okay, as you will see them. They will come. Okay, here's the first thing. Let's go ahead and kill these. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this thing before I go too crazy on it. Alright, now. And we got reset on that. And boom, it's dead. Not bad. Not bad at all. Just stacking our wolf damage and our poison creeper damage on it to really juice up that barber for the one-shots. And yep, you can see wolves just reset right there. And another thing too is your wolves actually have a pretty high lucky hit coefficient, so they'll proc lucky hit effects too. Yep, there's another reset right there. Oh wait, ooh, did I just hear the butcher? Oh, please tell me the butcher's here. No, I didn't hear the butcher. I'm crazy, I'm sorry. I am insane in the membrane. Okay. Here, just do this. Get them out of the poison there. Okay. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. You can use your wolf to... Yeah, boom. See, it looks like I do no damage, and then all of a sudden they explode. That is the way it be. Also, if you're early on in the game, you could actually run Mad Wolf's Glee, I think, is probably fine too, but there's not an insane reason to run it, but it would give you ranks to Rabies, your Bloodhowl, and your Claw. But the thing is since you run Storm's Companion and Great Staff with the Crone, you know you got to think about your secondaries you're giving up. But that's okay. So if you're early on, I don't think Mad Wolf's Glee is that bad, but you're definitely going to want those quad damage reductions the higher up you get for sure. Okay. Ooh. And see, another reset. And should just die, yep. 800,000 right there. Yeah. The key thing is, like, if you can get multiple resets inside of it, is the active is the main way that your wolves deal damage. Their auto attacks do 17,000, but like, I don't know if it's bugged, but it seems like their auto attacks don't do as much as they should. So I don't know if it's bugged or if they just don't go through armor pretty well or something like that, because they are technically dealing lightning damage now. So I don't know. But the main thing is just using their active to stack up the barber and to do some burst damage to the packs of enemies. Okay. Like that. Yep. See. Goes. Nice. And again, you can switch out your Rabies for something else if you want like another defensive. So you can run triple defenses in this build, which is pretty good. So you can make this build pretty tanky, even though you have to give up your quads on the pants for the Storm's Companions. It's like you can kind of make up with that by running Cyclone Armor or something, or Debilitating Roar. I think Cyclone Armor is actually probably going to be my preference if I do end up doing something like that. Because I'm not stacking cooldown, because I'm using Great Staff with the Crone to get my resets, so I'm not really that worried about stacking cooldown. I don't think it's particularly that useful with this build. Because you can really only get 20% now with it, so... And yeah, see, look at that. I mean, it just dies so fast. Just send the wolves on them. Send the wolves on them. And also, when it comes to like them dying, because I know like some people might be like, oh man, look, they're dying. It's like, they come back like fucking 5 or 10 seconds later, so like, who cares? And they mainly die to explosions. Like, since they had, this place has death pulse, right? See, like, they're already back. Like, who cares? Okay, that's... Oh my gosh. Yeah. I should have turned up the difficulty maybe a little bit more. I'm only 2 levels higher than where I'm at. You get a little bit, you get more pack leader resets if you actually have to DPS things a little bit longer, but I'm just kind of blowing things up here. Decimation. But oh, another thing though is keep in mind there isn't really a reason to play above your level, because the EXP bonus is really like, it's not that great for how much more difficult it makes the game and how much it slows it down. Alright, so let's do the boss here. And oh, I'm doing no damage. Oh, and all of a sudden 1.3 million. Okay. Oh, another reset. And boom. Okay. there it is. So you can see pretty solid bossing on this build too. It looks like you do no damage, and then all of a sudden half their health is gone. So pretty nice. But anyway, so that's going to do it for this build. Hope you enjoyed. I have a lot of fun playing this build. This is most likely going to be the build that I play the majority of the time. It's the most fun build I've played so far this season. I love the Barber. I think it's great. Companion skills definitely seem to be on the rise with just simply because of the Barber. Honestly, in my opinion, I think it fixes a lot of the problems, and there's going to be more balance patches in the future, so we'll see if maybe, fingers crossed, they make werewolves a tagged werewolf ability one day. Oh please, oh please. And if they buff their health too, that would be kind of nice, but not necessary. Yeah. But anyways, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching the video. Like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time. Thanks.